Here we go. Rated Raw reactions. Got another video for y'all I want to react to. This video gonna be a political reaction. Like I said, with this channel, I want to try to keep it diverse and try to not stick too much in one realm, which I can see that may possibly hurt me one day. But in order to find a lane, I want to, dabble in a couple different places. And I know sometimes political commentary can be the third rail because you can completely alienate one half of the spectrum. Willingly or unwillingly, it can happen. But yeah, I wanted to get into it because I saw this video probably a year ago, and this was going to be my first video, but for whatever reason, I couldn't figure out how to react to it on my phone and match it up. It's a lot of work to try to do a reaction video on your phone. So I kind of just sat on it. Like I just never did nothing with it. Being as though this is my second video, I think it's fitting for me to get up in it. But before we do anything, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that jazz. I got a modest subscriber goal. I'm trying to hit 50. Man, if I could get 50 subscribers, man, then we climb from there. But for now, it's only 50. So we're gonna get up in this video. It's basically a young black, educated young man, Trump supporter, on a liberal college campus, kind of debating everybody. And being as though I saw this video before, it's a little unfair, but I don't think it was fair for him to go to this campus and debate all these ill-prepared young people when he had talking points on deck. Like, I don't think that was fair. I don't think that was right, but it is what it is. So I'm going to spend some time reacting to it and debunking some of the things he said. There may be a thing or two he said that I slightly agree with, but not really. Because I think all in all, look, we're going to get into it. I'm not trying to give up too much. So, Rated Raw reactions. It's our second reaction video. It is to Black Trump Supporter Breaks the Programming. The original video link will be in the description. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Let's go. Let's see what we can.
Who are you? So you're telling me you have not done
Am I not black enough now? I'm not an African American. I'm an American. Okay? And I've never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa. There's no better country to be a
I tell you right now, I do love his energy, and I love the fact that he's unapologetically whatever he is. Like, I love when I see a young black man comfortable in his skin. And I can tell that this ain't an act. This is who he is. At least that's what I get. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting from this.
Person of, yeah, we're actually here trying to get me a date. Hey, you want to go?
I'm not into maggots, so no thank you.
I'm a maggot? Is it because I'm black?
No. Really, you're going to play the black.
To call him a maggot, bro, I think, I heard a point a couple weeks ago. We have to deal with each other. When it comes to these political things, the vitriol, I hope I said that word right, the animus and animosity we have towards each other stops the political conversation from moving forward. The animus we have towards each other needs to be directed at the establishment. Because one thing I'll tell you, knowingly or unknowingly, the everyday Republican, the everyday Democrat, and the everyday independent have one thing in common. They all truly hate the establishment. The difference is, in my eyes, me being a Democrat, me being on the quote-unquote left, I mean, I guess I'll say I'm a Democrat. I'm more independent than anything because I like ideas, but I lean toward the left. I lean toward the left. I'll keep it funky with you. I'll keep it a bean. I lean toward the left. But one thing I notice about the left is we're against the establishment, and we know we're against the establishment. Republicans have allowed themselves to be tricked to believe that they're against the establishment when in reality, most of the policies of the people that they support is establishment, pro-establishment, if that makes sense.
That card with me.
Why is he a maggot?
A maggot is a Trump supporter. He's a maggot.
So wait, so Trump supporters are maggots? That's interesting. Why is that?
Because you're supporting a orange in the office who is defunding Medicare, a lot of insurances, a lot of like even
All right, bro. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word because I don't know the YouTube words, whatever the YouTube rules yet. But honestly, don't think Trump is. Let's just use the word prejudice towards blacks and Hispanics or whoever else people may think he's the R word too. I just think he's an idiot. And also, he's a smart idiot because he understands what's advantageous to his cause. So I don't think he believes anything. So yeah, I think we give him too much credit by calling him the R word when in reality, in my heart, I just don't think he is. I just think he's an idiot. And you can be an idiot and not be the R word, but it's hard to be the R word without being an idiot, if that makes sense.
food stamps.
He's defunding food stamps? You know, that was actually Ben Carson that was slashing the food stamp budget.
And Ben Carson.
Ben Carson's actually a black guy.
Just because he's black, just like.
So this is a disingenuous argument right here. He's starting off on the wrong foot. So for him to blame Ben Carson, who was in Trump's administration, I don't know what the semantics of the situation actually are. I'm only going off what they say. And for him to blame Ben Carson, a black man, for slashing food stamps, while in the Trump administration, where Trump ran his administration like Frank White, like nothing goes down unless he's involved. That's so disingenuous, and yeah, I don't like that he did that. That's very disingenuous.
Like you just
Talk to me. What countries did he call shitholes?
a whole of West Africa, and not to mention the Muslim ban is mostly
There's no Muslim ban.
There's no Muslim
There's
ban.
no Muslim ban.
So
No. Let me explain.
Somalia-
Let me explain something to you.
No,
please.
let me
I was respectful and listened to you. Please. Okay, the ban was not on Muslims. It was on people from certain countries. Now, those countries had high... But everyone in those countries is not a Muslim. So it wasn't a Muslim ban. It was a ban based on geographical location, not religion.
Once again, bro, this dude is so frustrating. So you gonna sit there and say he didn't ban Muslims. He just banned people from certain countries. That's like saying, yo, I ban Mexicans, right? But then realizing that you're in hot water and say, you know what? I don't ban Mexicans. I just ban people from Mexico. That's the point he's making.
Not silent.
You said they were rich.
No.
They could afford clean water if they were rich.
I do have to say, you said you lied about Trump. I am in this.
I'm saying it was true. It's terrible, and we should help them, but they're not developed.
I hate that she dismissed the white girl like that, though. Because sometimes, first of all, he crumbling her. Kinda. Sometimes people will shoot you bail if you allow them to cut into an argument. So I would have let her cut in.
Go to Africa.
I have to.
I'm an American.
That's
Okay?
all.
And
He got a point there. I'm telling you right now. When somebody called me an African American, my antennas go right up, bro. Because it's like a certain level of overcompensation that I feel is going on. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, no, I'm black. I don't like being referred to as an African American. Even though my reasons are different than his, I do not like being called an African American. As soon as I hear that, soon as I hear somebody say that, my antennas immediately go up, and I'm critiquing and nitpicking everything you say from there on out. I don't know if it's how I was raised. I don't know if it's my history. I don't know what it is, but that's just how I am.
I've never been to Africa. And the Africans in Africa sold my ancestors into slaves. Why would I identify?
African American? What?
You were African American. Don't try to
No.
So what are you then?
Absolutely not.
Am I a European American? Why don't you guys call white people European Americans?
That's spicy white.
Why don't you say European American?
Bro, why are they acting as if black people, I'm sorry, African Americans gave themselves the name African Americans? Like, why is she, like, The level of disingenuousness in this conversation is beyond me. It just sucks that these two Republicans came prepared with talking points to these students. It's not even a fair fight. It's just not.
American.
Why don't you ask an American?
Joel, why, if you're not an African American, why am I not called a?
And he said something that kind of slipped by, bro, that I hate when people make this point, bro. He said the Africans in Africa sold my ancestors into slavery. So let me get this straight. You have an issue with the Africans that sold other Africans, which, by the way, were warring factions. Anybody who makes this talking point, they act as if these were like me selling my neighbor. No, these were people. A lot of the time, these were prisoners of war and warring tribes who would sell people into slavery. But you don't have an issue with the person who bought your ancestors. And that's what irritates me about whenever these discussions come up with people like this, is because you want to pick and choose. It's like same thing back to the Ben Carson point. It's like, okay, so if the Africans in Africa never sold your ancestors into slavery, would you then have an issue with slavery? Like, I'm confused. Like, I just hate that. I just hate that, man. I just hate when people do that, man.
European.
Uncle Ruckus. Get the shit.
Don't touch my stuff.
Did you say Uncle Ruckus?
Called him Uncle Ruckus. and lady, don't tell her don't touch the stuff if you putting the mic in her face, yo. Like, come on now. But whatever. I'm getting catty.
As a fictional, would you let somebody that is so stupid that they would say something so ignorant dictate your behavior in any way, shape, or form?
Because another president
that's what everyone thinks.
I'm not talking to you.
If that's what everyone thinks, they don't want you to go up in this country. So they don't give you the opportunities that you need.
So then you bust your butt and you show them that you don't care what they think, and you become successful. And I can applaud that.
My mother was a single mother, worked 3 jobs my whole life.
Exactly.
To get me where I am now. And you
cannot stop
you.
you.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not
the
stop you.
opportunities she needs. My mom worked her ass to get a manager position in a hospital. She has her master's degree, and she's going out for her doctorate because not only did.
For the record, this is a very well-spoken young lady.
Other people tell her that she shouldn't do it, but she knew herself that she should, without getting the opportunities that she wanted herself. So she did go out and bust her butt. But
so you're telling me
that does not mean that everyone didn't put her down along the way.
But they didn't stop her, and that's what I'm saying.
But
Racism is not a significant.
All right, so I'll let them talk a little bit. So I'm gonna interject because that's what this channel is for. Now, I've heard this point made a lot, and to an extent, both of them are right. But I think what's always missed by people who make the counter argument that racism doesn't keep people down, they fail to realize that for the average person who is under racism, under the guise of racism, it can affect them. But the people who truly persevere above it are just built different. I never hear this point made. It's like, in order for the average black person to make it, and some people may say what I'm saying is excuses, but in order for the average black person to make it, they have to be phenomenal. They have to have the thickest skin. They have to be the smartest. They have to be tops in their fields. Like, I don't understand how black people, I can understand why some white folk don't understand it, but I don't understand how some black people don't understand the fact that the black people who made it are special. Like, you have to be special to make it out of some of these circumstances. Now, I'm not necessarily speaking for me directly, but like, I have people in my family who defied all types of odds. And it's not because they were given an equal playing field. It's because they're special. It's almost like, excuse me for what I'm about to say, but it's almost as if I take somebody like, I'm trying to think, like my Uncle Rob or my Aunt Bonnie. These are phenomenal human beings. My Aunt Sharon, my Uncle Ray, phenomenal human beings who have always overachieved and outperformed anyone they were around. But they're middle class Americans. And I think, and once again, excuse me for saying this, I think to myself sometimes, if my Aunt Bonnie and my Uncle Rob and my Aunt Sharon and my Uncle Ray were white, they would probably be like Bill Gates. Like, I hate to be that guy, and I hate to say that, but that's how I feel. Because the things that they persevered against, it's just phenomenal. And it's like, they worked extra hard and did all this just to get where some, not all, but some people of other races roll out of bed and get. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Significant issue enough to stop you.
Are you what?
It's not going to stop you.
50 years. She has gone out for 50 years. That has not stopped her.
It hasn't stopped her. You said she's still going.
What person are you? So you're telling me you have not gone?
Him saying it hasn't stopped her, he's not taking account to the fact the way she's wired. Like the things that she's saying her mother dealt with, the average person would have been stopped. Not to mention, if you put the average white person through that, how their life may have turned out. But I don't want to elongate this video.
Am I not black enough now?
You're telling me you have not gone through any racism in your life.
You didn't say that.
None. You
I'm not an African American. I didn't say I wasn't black.
what the f are you?
Right.
I'm an American.
No, you're an African American.
So sorry.
Man, do you try and put more effort into employing more African Americans than white males?
I actually employ a lot of Mexicans.
Okay, so do you try and go out your way to employ more people that you feel are underrepresented in the country?
No, I employ people that I believe will do the best job.
It's a fair point. That's a fair point. Can't knock the man for that.
It's to employ people based on their skin color.
It's not, because you definitely just told me that America does not try to put down people who you don't think has the ability to do certain jobs.
I think it's nuts to suggest that it's racist to employ people because their skin color. Because I think, this is just me, I feel as though any company who serves a community, their staff should reflect said community. I just think it just makes sense that way, you know? Like, it's because your staff a lot of time is made up of people from the community, so why would you not want your staff to reflect what the community is? That's just my opinion. That was always my mindset when I through my management career.
I didn't say that, but I believe that there's no better country to be a person of color than America. And if you find a better country, I would love to hear about it.
I can tell you that there's many countries, Canada.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with what he just said, because honestly, I'd rather deal with the stuff that, outside of slavery, of course, but I'm talking about modern day now. Give me America all day. Canada is enticing, but it's the R word up in Canada too. Canada's not perfect. None of these countries are. Like, I would take America and my American first world problems over a lot of these countries.
Just because somebody says something rude to you, like calls you the N-word, that does not affect your ability to make money.
It affects everyone else's mindset.
That's not your call to make, bro. It might not affect you, bro. That's not your call to make, how a name or whatever affects somebody. It's not your call, bro.
That's everyone else's mindset.
That affects you. Going through depression affects you.
I didn't say depression doesn't affect you. I'm saying it's not going to stop your ability to make money in the United States.
The thing is, if that's what...
And I love how he... man, this video could be an hour if I wanted it to be. I love how he reduces racism to just being called the N-word. As if no other type of racism exists. Like, I just don't get that part.
One person, no, you're not giving up.
But not everyone.
But if that's what one person thinks about you, that's what multiple people think about you.
That's not true. America is not a more country today than it was 50 years ago. America is the least that it's ever.
Yeah, I agree with him on that. I think saying America is just as racist today as it was 50 years ago is insane. I think you got to be dropped on your head to think that. Is the racism still there? Yes. Is it more subtle? Yes. But it's not people spitting in your face and like, come on, bro. Like, I think anybody, I think anybody who disagrees with that is nuts. And honestly, I don't think you'll get a sane mind black person that would agree with that.
Ever been at any point in history, and is more or less dead, and the only people that keep it alive because they want to make money off of it.
Saying racism is dead is nuts, though. That's nuts. That's nuts. Because with all due respect to the people who set up systemic racism, they did a hell of a job. Where they don't have to do anything else. They don't have to. The damage is done. You can go back to anything. You can go back to the Emancipation Proclamation after slavery, which led to the 40 acres and a mule we never got. Had we got the 40 acres and a mule, this would be a completely different country. Then you get into Reconstruction, where a lot of black people were successful because we had all the skills. But then some of the poor whites had an issue with that. So then that's when Jim Crow came. And then you take Jim Crow, like, I hate when people act like slavery was a clean break. Like, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and then everything was just even and we just was dropped into 2023. Bro, Jim Crow, then you got 60s, 70s, 80s, all types of stuff happened. Crack, which whatever, you could people like to blame us for crack, but at the end of the day, it's enough documentation to know, and enough people on record who are part of presidential administrations who pretty much said it was an assertive effort to do whatever it did to a certain sect of people. Then you got welfare. Then you got the fact that black women were rewarded for not having a father in the house. Then you got the prison industrial complex and like, bro, like, it was not this clean break everybody make it out to be. And I ain't even mentioned Redline. I didn't even mention that.
I've been in cuffs 3 times and committed 0 crimes.
African
Discrimination. I've literally been.
So they came over and they were like, you know what? There's a black man walking. Let me arrest him.
Correct.
That's what happened.
There's the CVS that was robbed. The description was a black male that was 6'1" with long hair. I don't have that long of hair. I got arrested. Was in cuffs for 2 hours. 2 hours. Had to have all my information, like, decided, like, ran and everything. And after 2 hours, they finally figured out I wasn't 6'1" when I'm 5'10". Yes.
And that's because of.
Yes. Yes.
So it wasn't.
Try me.
So it wasn't because you fit the description of the other person.
No, I didn't fit the description. I'm not 6'1". I don't have long hair. It's black. It's because I'm black.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I'm gonna tell you like this. I can't speak for all black people. I can speak for me, though. I feel as though, because of what I've been through, that every single black person in America, excuse me, let me take this back. Every single black man in America has been in a position either once, twice, 3, 4 times in his life where things could have went a whole lot different. I got arrested when I was young. I got arrested for something. I don't even know what it was for. And they tried to pin a robbery on me. Literally tried, like, bro, I've never been arrested for anything. They tried to pin a robbery on me. Like, and it's like, and this is the kicker. The cop who tried to pin a robbery on me knew me. Like, he coached me in basketball. Like, I've never done anything. I mean, everybody broke a law or two there, but I've never really done anything. I was not that type of guy. Never gave it up like that. I'm a hood guy. I'm not a hood guy, but I'm from the hood, if you know what I'm saying. Like, but bro, that blew my mind. And at the end of the day, he tried to pin a robbery on me and it wound up not going. But had he been persistent about it, who knows what would have happened? And this is the things I'm talking about that I could be wrong. I just don't think white folks have experienced these things to understand what a black person means when they say this system is rigged against us. Now, that was my last brush with the law. I don't know. It hasn't been anything since then. But like the fact that happened and the fact that they tried to get me to confess to robberies that I didn't commit. I mean, bro, it could have went a different way. That's all I'm saying.
Over 14 times in the last year.
Yeah. And how many times were you in cuffs?
Not a single time.
So
I was in it for one, for a speeding violation.
Speeding.
A speeding violation, yeah.
15 times for speeding.
I'm not even gonna lie. I spent 15 miles over the speed limit in 2018. Sat in cuffs for an hour while they checked my car. 100%.
And that's
what do you explain?
And that's purely because of
what do you
racism.
think that is?
And how does that stop you? How does that stop you?
What do you think it is? Like, hold on. What do you think it is? Like,
getting pulled over 14 times by the cops is nuts. But I don't think that's a race thing. Because a lot of the times, I've been pulled over, rightfully pulled over a couple times. And I've been not pulled over a couple times I should have been pulled over. So, I don't think, you know what, I don't think being pulled over is arbitrary as some black people like to make it sound. Now, if you're getting pulled over in a residential area, I can understand that. But honestly, if you're on a highway, I don't even know if cops can see if you black or white. I just think the black or white to them is either you breaking the law or you didn't. Either you got your turn signals on or you don't, or either you speeding or you not. Like that's just my opinion in highway situations. But as far as residential areas, I can't speak to that because I've never been pulled over in a residential area. Maybe once for running a light or something like that, but that's that. A lot of black folks lose me on that argument for that. And the other part of it is, I just think some of us black people don't respect the cops enough to de-escalate the situation. It shouldn't be our job to de-escalate the situation, but if we're in fear of our lives to the rate that we say we're in fear of our lives, we have to do a better job as black men in de-escalating these police encounters. Once again, it's not our job to do that. And it should not be our job to do that. But at the end of the day, if you want to go home, I think we need to teach each other to de-escalate the situation. Roll all your windows down. Turn the dome light on. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Use sir. Be polite. Don't talk back. If you ask, why am I being pulled over? Ask it respectfully. The same way you would ask your manager something at work. At the end of the day, the police, it's a position of power. Regardless of how you feel about it, at the end of the day, there's a certain level of reverence you should have for a police officer that approaches your car. And if you could de-escalate the situation, then I think it's better for cops. And I have a whole newfound respect for cops now that I got a cousin that's a state trooper. I look at everything differently now. It's not that I hated them before, because I haven't had much of a reason to hate cops, other than the propaganda that kind of goes around on the Democratic side and then in the inner cities. But yeah, man, I think it's our jobs as black men to figure out how we can de-escalate some of these situations.
Do you want me to explain it to you?
Yeah, what do you think it was?
Okay, so you're not going to be happy about this, but 55% of violent crimes are committed by African American males.
Why should I be in handcuffs?
Here we go. Now look, I have not researched this stat. I don't have the facts. I don't have the numbers. But saying that 12, not even 12, that roughly 6% of the population commits 55% of the violent crimes is a crock of crap. You can't get 6% of anything to do 55. Bro, if 6% of the United States were velociraptors, velociraptors would not commit 55% of the violent crime. It does not compute. Because what the way you would have to stretch things to make those numbers work, it's almost as if every black American male would have committed 18, 20, 25 violent crimes per male in order for those numbers to work. Bro, I hate these intellectual, anecdotal, statistical people. I don't get it. 6% of nothing could give you 55% of something else. I don't give a damn what the situation is. I don't care. Like, bro, that stat makes no sense, bro. And it irritates me because somebody will hear that and be like, well, that sounds about right. Bro, you're not going to tell me that 6% of the population is responsible for 55% of anything within the population, bro. Unless we talking about rich people. Unless we talk about like how maybe 6% of the country has 80% of the wealth. Yeah, that's possible. But we talk about violent crimes, bro. Like, what? Come on, man. So we just go by, we just cruise by Hispanics. The Hispanics don't murder don't do anything. White people who outnumber everybody, we cruise by them too. So we make up more violent crime than every other racial group in the country? That makes zero sense.
Because for committing a traffic violation.
You shouldn't.
Exactly.
So I don't know this situation, but I seriously doubt it was just because you committed a traffic violation.
So is that why black male?
So he should
black
be
male
cuffs for traffic
is that?
violation.
I've been pulled over 50. I just told you how many times I was pulled over. I've never once been put in cuffs.
So
and I'm a black man.
Is that
the same
why
as him.
every black male is taught from a young age to keep their hands on the steering wheel and don't move a single inch until they come up to your window?
Do you know what the statistics are for the number of African Americans that shoot police officers?
Is that why? Is that why every young...
Bro, he got a stat for everything. Did you hear what he just said? Do you know what the statistics are for young African American men who shoot police officers? I don't. But I'm willing to bet that it's not as high as white males that shoot police officers. Once again, I don't have these numbers in front of me. But, bro, that's just crazy.
Male is taught to keep their hands facing forward as a young age. Am I wrong?
I really don't know.
Am I wrong?
Hang on. One at a time.
I'm genuinely asking you.
What is the statistic?
I'm going to answer your questions
What
one
is
at a
it?
time. Can you repeat your question?
Is that why every young male
What is it?
is taught to keep their hands on the steering wheel and don't move an inch until they get to your car?
Everyone should be taught that. You should always keep your
But is
hands on
that
the
why
steering wheel.
specifically?
Because statistically, we've been told that the police are more likely to shoot us because we've believed a lie that police brutality is this major issue affecting
It's
the black community.
Violating.
Okay.
It happens.
This is something else that's crazy to me. For him to think that police brutality isn't a thing is crazy. Now, will I say that, and I might get fried for this, I feel like for every police brutality case that was wrong, it's probably 3 that was warranted. I'm sorry, I said it, but it is what it is. Because look, black folk, we be wildin', man. We be wildin', period. So to hide behind the gaze of police brutality is crazy because some of I hope I don't get fried for this. Some of the brutality and some of the places that it's coming from is some of the roughest, toughest, rough and tumblest places in the world. Places I don't even go. So I'm not gonna say I get it, but bro, like,
Technically African American, because the definition of being African American is because you don't know your origin of where your people come from in Africa. So
My people come from America.
No, okay.
Where do you think your ancestors come
no,
from?
your ancestors.
They came from America.
Okay, but before that, how far can you trace back your heritage?
I think I'm 39% English, so they came from England.
Okay, what
What
about
do you
what
think?
about
How
the
do
other
you think they've
percentage?
gotten to
I think I'm 15% Native American, so they also came from America.
Okay, and then the rest.
And whatever percent black I am, they probably came from some country in Africa.
And that's why you'd identify.
But why would I not identify as English American or
but you
Indian
know
American?
why most African Americans identify as African American? Because most of their heritage comes from Africa. So since they cannot identify what part of Africa they come from, they identify as African American as a whole.
Yeah.
Now me,
All right, she cooking. Let's see where she go with this. She cooking.
I know exactly what part I come from in Africa. I'm Kenyan American. That's what I identify as because I actually know my origin. But you can't just diss that part of yourself. And I'm not telling you to diss the Native American part or the English part of yourself, right?
Wait, why would you think I diss my being black?
No, I'm not trying to say that you are. But you're just like.
But I've never been to Africa. Why would I call myself an African American?
So do you?
He just trolling at this point. Cause she cooking. She right. Like you so quick to dismiss being African American, but African Americans aren't referred to as African Americans because they're from Africa. It's because that's where the lineage is traced. But look, he ain't trying to hear nothing nobody trying to say anyway. But whatever.
You just consider yourself to be black?
I consider myself to be a black American.
Okay.
Because I feel like terms like hyphenated terms like African American divide Americans.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was robbed of my identity. My ancestors were robbed of their identity. I have ancestors
of the American dream that everyone else should have.
I know the name of some of my ancestors that were slaves.
And that should not affect you in any way, shape, or form.
I'm the fourth generation of my name.
Because that does not define you.
I know exactly who was
You're
a
not
slave in my
defined by
family.
your past.
But you're
That you never experienced. Identify with your history is different than saying you identify with your past because you never experienced slavery. No one you've ever met has ever experienced it.
You know what I don't get? What frustrates me about some people who say slavery is in the past, it was 400 years ago, this and that. As far as I know, from talking to people in my family, my grandmother's mother was a slave. She was born a slave. So that's not that far back. And my grandmother's still alive. Her mother was born a slave. And it's so funny how some people will hide behind alcoholism. Let's say somebody's alcoholic. And they'll say, well, my father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic. And my great-grandfather was an alcoholic. So they take that. And they'll use that as to why they're predisposed to be an alcoholic, but won't give black folk the same carte blanche as far as the impacts that slavery may have had on us. I just don't get it. I don't understand how you don't see that. How you allow yourself to say, well, I did this, I did that, my grandparents did this, so therefore blah blah blah. But then when we say, hey, well, when we're talking about all types of things that we should have that we don't have, it's insane to me, man. It's insane that people don't equate that.
Africa, why would I say I identify as a slave?
But that's what you're saying when you say that African American.
I said I'm Kenyan American.
I don't identify
not
as a
African
slave. I
American.
just identify that I
So
come
then why
from...
did you say it
No,
bothered you that-
wait, let me finish.
that was part
I
of your
identify that
heritage.
I come from the continent of Africa, and I'm just robbed of the specific area that my heritage comes from. That's what I'm saying when I'm saying that I'm African American. I can't identify with a specific culture like many other people that were able to have,
can
that
identify
are
with
able to
American
go
culture.
through their ancestral tree and go find that. I
There's
can't
no
find
American.
Why is he saying you can identify with American culture? As if some of us as black people, and I speak for myself, I get jealous of Hispanics, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Irish people and Italians who I may be Italian, but I don't know yet. who get to relish in their history. Now, when I was younger, I would have been ashamed to relish in my African history, but to be able to today trace my lineage to Kenya or Congo or Sierra Leone or Zambia, like, bro, I would love to do that. Now I'm a little scared of 23andMe, cause I don't need nobody having my DNA and my clone coming to kill me in 10 years. But it frustrates me that everybody else has the ability to celebrate where they're from specifically. Like, but for black people, we would have to celebrate the entire continent of Africa, not a specific area to which we come from. Unless we did one of these DNA tests, and who knows if that's real. An Irish person don't have to trace their lineage to Ireland through a 23andMe. They don't. Because their history wasn't stripped from them the way ours was. So, whatever. I don't know.
American culture.
So that was it. That was the whole video. I know it's long. But, the net of it is, A, don't get into a debate that you ain't prepared for where the other person is prepared and clearly prepared. Like, don't walk into that. Secondly, I hated how I feel like some black people overcompensate for white people. So for example, the way Joel said, I keep saying it, but the way he said, well, Ben Carson's black and he cut food stamps. It's like, so you would have the opposite opinion if he was white? No, you wouldn't. You would find some other straw man to hide behind. Like, I don't, and then the way he said, well, my ancestors in Africa the people in Africa sold my ancestors into slavery, but they sold them and it was a market for them. Like, so the animosity you have towards these Africans, you should have towards the Europeans who put them in actual chains and who put their children in chains and their children's in chains. So you don't have any smoke for them. None. You got no smoke for the people that kept your ancestors in chains for 300 years, but you got smoke for the African who sold them into slavery, which was probably a 2-day process. That don't even make no sense, man. So I'ma chill. We wrapping up. Second video on the YouTube channel saying, we trying to do what we trying to do. Once again, like, subscribe, alert button, do whatever you gotta do. Sign up for the email. Email me at ratedrawreactions.com if you got a video you want me to react to. Like I said, we gonna try to react to everything. So it kind of is what it is. I catch y'all next time I catch a video, and peace.